guys, as you may have seen in our last video today, Jon and I are trying out the new Crisis, Battle Report 27 this is going to be, and all of the ones moving forward will use the new Crisis pack. We've got Spider Foes, Jon, for you, versus My Web Warriors. It's going to be really interesting to see. Rather than doing the normal mission selection, what we're going to do to try and incorporate as many of the new missions as possible is just pick a couple to play.
That sounds fair.
Then we're going to roll priority, and whoever wins gets to choose which of the threat values. So today, we've got Paranoia, Pummels, Populace.
You did well there.
And a new sword base. So quite interesting missions. Only a 15 and a 16, so the roll isn't going to be that big for threat value, although it could make a big difference.
Yeah.
As we've both got quite chunky characters in our rosters, and it can be a little bit clunky for both teams when building. So Jon, that's what we're going to be playing today. We're going to roll for priority, then we'll run through what the two new missions are and get underway.
Yeah, I'm excited for you.
It's going to be good.
Yeah,
It's going to be a nice change. So let's see what happens. So Jon, we're going to roll for priority, then we will quickly talk through each of the new missions.
Sounds good.
Whoever won the priority roll will choose which threat value.
I'm okay with this.
So one for me.
One for me.
So we're off to a hot start with the new Crisis.
Ooh, we are.
You've got a wild, I've only got a hit, meaning you've won the priority roll.
Okay.
So we'll quickly talk about the Crisis cards we're going to be playing, and then Jon, you can decide which threat value.
Sounds good.
Right then, Jon, the first mission that we've got to try out today is Paranoia, Pummels, Populace. I think this was the most voted one that people wanted to see, and it's no surprise because it's brand new, including in its name, which is an absolute tongue twister of alliteration.
It feels like it was made by Stanley with the alliteration.
Yeah, you can definitely tell.
Yeah.
So, this is a 16 threat extract mission, and when setting you up, you place 4 disturbance tokens, assets as shown on map K. You might be wondering, what is map K? And that's because we now have a whole host of new setup layouts as well. So we'll have that up on screen to show you. The way the scoring works for this is that players score 1 VP for each disturbance token character they control is holding during the cleanup phase. For a character to get it, they need to interact as normal, so it's going to cost you 1 power. And you pick up the disturbance. A character can only hold 1 disturbance at a time. When a character picks up a disturbance, if there is not another allied character within 2 of it, it suffers 1 damage. So you might want to get some friends up there to help you out to make sure you don't suffer from the paranoia. This part's a little tricky. So, during the cleanup phase, if 1 or more characters holding a disturbance token are within 2 of another allied character, those characters controlling player scores 1 VP. What this means is that there's a bonus point up for grabs for each player during a round that they get by making sure all their teammates are huddled up near to at least 1 or more of their characters that is holding a disturbance token. So, an interesting mission. Some of the most interesting parts about this are the fact that if Jon and I are holding 2 each, we can both get our bonus points, meaning that there's actually 6 points going to be scored between this mission. So it can become very, very fast scoring very, very quickly. It's definitely going to be interesting to see. And we'll quickly talk about the next mission that we are playing today.
So, the second mission we're running today is S.W.O.R.D establishes base on Moon's Blue area. Now, this may sound familiar because it has featured on the channel before. However, it has not featured on the channel the way that it now plays. So, it is currently a secure. However, as we said, things have changed. So, for its setup, we now place 4 console tokens, points of interest, as shown on map G. So, another new map and an increase in the number of points on the board. So, scoring. Players score 1 VP for each console they control during the cleanup phase. Interact with the console. If no enemy characters are contesting this console, the character's controlling player now controls this console. So very similar to before, walk up, all yours. However, if it is contested, otherwise, roll 1 die. If the result is a crit, wild or a hit, the character's controlling player now controls this console. So you can walk up to one contested by an opponent, pay the power to interact, roll a die, and it is still 50-50 that it becomes yours. And then we do have another little bit of text at the bottom. So during the power phase, if a player controls more consoles than their opponent, they command the base's security system and may choose an enemy character. The chosen character is pushed short and the opposing player resolves this push. So that is still how it worked out before on S.W.O.R.D base. So there is no changes in that bit. There is just a change in the 4 consoles and the amount of VPs that are up for grabs.
Jon, there is also one minor thing you forgot to mention about the S.W.O.R.D base.
There is one minor thing I forgot to mention, and that is the threat value.
So, the threat value for the mission is now 15, and quite interestingly, we seem to have lost every 14 threat scenario. So there are no new crises with the 14 threat. Any that previously had it have been changed to different values. It's going to be super interesting to see if that's a sign moving forward. So the key things to remember here are that it's still a 50-50 roll to take a sword base if it is contested. However, if it's uncontested, you just need to pay your power and it's yours. The big difference is that it's no longer all or nothing. You get 1 VP for each sword base that you are controlling. This means there's 4 VPs possibly on the table, and there is a chance to cancel out the push if both players control 2 of them. So John, that is both the scenarios. We're going to be playing Paranoia, Pummels, Populace, and sword base established on Moon's blue area. John, you did win the priority roll. Which of the threat values would you like, 15 or 16?
I feel like it's the first one under New Crises. Let's go as big as we possibly can, and let's rock a 16 and see what happens.
So we're going to build some rosters as we normally would, talk you through them, and then we'll get underway. So for the Web Warriors today, we've kept it nice and simple. I've taken every Web Warrior affiliated character that is in my roster. Starting off, we've got Miles Morales. He's our leader, gives us the leadership, great responsibility. Let us reroll 1 defense dice when defending with any of our characters. It's super solid, super strong, really great as a leadership. Second part of it is that if we're contesting or securing an objective, we can modify skulls, which with these new crises is even better, as there just seems to be more objectives on the board. He's got a web swing, which gives him some placement. He can make enemies drop objectives with his Venom Blast. What's not to love about Miles Morales? Next up, we've got Black Cat. One of the boogeymen of the game. She is very, very strong and able to steal objectives. However, with the new crisis clause, there's no longer any single extracts, so maybe she won't be as bad to play against now, as she can't just take something worth a lot and run away with it. After that, we've got Gwen, absolute powerhouse in the Web Warriors. 3 threats, she's just got great versatility. She can put out some damage on a webbed up turn, and aside from that, she's got great control and the lifesaver superpower, which can keep her friends out of trouble. Venom decided to side with the Web Heads today. Super strong 4 threat, very, very tanky. He is a little weak to energy defences, so I do need to be a little careful with John's leader, who I'm guessing is going to be the Green Goblin. Lastly, we've got Moon Knight, aka the Avatar of Khonshu, aka Mr. Knight, and many other names. One of my favourite characters in the Marvel Universe. Moon Knight is also a powerhouse in the game. His throwing presence can devastate somebody whilst he hides away in the safety of stealth. The Avatar of Khonshu attack itself is really powerful, and that split personality can sometimes give you a treat that you didn't see coming. In terms of tactics cards, we've got Patch Up, a little bit of healing to help the longevity of the team. Then we've got Spider Tracker, so a Web Warrior character can use this when an enemy moves within 4 of them with a move action. They get to move small, so it can be really helpful for getting away from an attacker or moving closer for the likes of Venom so that he'll be able to counter-attack. Speaking of Venom, we've got Lethal Protector. This is a bodyguard mechanic type card. Lets Venom jump in the way of an allied character when they're being targeted, take the attack for them, hopefully line up another counter-attack, so really powerful. All Webbed Up is a staple for Web Heads. What this does gives everyone within 3 of the character that played it slow. During that round, when friendly Web Warriors attack an enemy character with slow, they gain 2 extra attack dice. Super, super strong, and it can really swing the flow of the game. Lastly, we've got Advanced R&D. This is just to help with the distribution of power across the team. So early on, I'll be looking to play this from Moon Knight to give the rest of my characters some power for some cheap superpowers that I really like having online early on. That's all of the Webhead roster at 16. John will quickly look at your spider foes.
Okay, so we've got a 16 threat spider foes for today, which is led by the one and only Green Goblin. Green Goblin's an interesting piece on the tabletop. He obviously has his standard pumpkin bombs builder where you can choose if it is energy or physical. So if he is lined up against Venom, as Aaron already mentioned, those energy pumpkins are going to be thrown. He obviously has his leadership in Oscorp weaponry, which allows me to force my opponent to reroll 1 of their defensive dice. So that's useful. It's limited, so it can only be used once per turn, but it's actually pretty good. He's also got Trick or Treat, so it's a little bit of extra shenanigans. So if an enemy character ends a movement within range 4, he can kind of pick some terrain size 3 or less that they're within 2 of and blow it up so they suffer a collision as if they'd been hit by that terrain. Always good for extra chip damage if the goblin is sat on some power. We've then got Mysterio. Mysterio I love. He's a little bit of a tech piece, but he brings a whole bunch of mystic attacks to the table, which means some of those pesky webheads will not be gaining their rerolls regardless of leadership, regardless of skulls. He's also got tricks and traps, which obviously allows him to spend some power to try and push through some additional damage when characters end movement within range of him. We've got Craven. who is solid at just putting out some hurt. He's got some movement shenanigans on his attack. He's got some built-in rerolls on attack and defense. He's got a superpower that allows him to give rerolls out to everybody else on a single character. Hopefully, he can punch out some damage. We've then got Doc Ock. What almost Sinister Six kind of collection is complete without Doc Ock? He's got his arm lasers. He's counting his wilds as 2. He's got solid defenses. He's gaining power every time he rolls a crit. So he's just an overall solid character on the tabletop and will hopefully do a little bit of work for me today. And then last but by no means least, Kurt Connors, the big lizard himself, an absolute menace on the tabletop. He has a healing factor, so he's going to reduce some damage down. He's got a nice terrain throw. He's got some kind of built-in dice. He can put out a ton of hurt. He's on a big base for grabbing objectives early on. Solid piece on the tabletop. Unfortunately, he's not counting as 2 under Kingpin today, but he is still a solid piece. So, in terms of cards, we've got the Grand Illusion, which is unaffiliated, but does require Mysterio. So Mysterio may spend 4 power for this, and what that means is characters within 3 of him do not roll additional dice for crits until the cleanup phase, and they get to change all of their crits to score results, so they don't even count in attack, dodge, or defense rolls. Now, I know those spiders can re-roll some pesky skulls, but it still stops them adding those extra dice in, so they are not going to like that if it's played at the right time. We've got Monkey Brain is Lizard Home, which basically gives Lizard an area to attack with 5 dice, but the crucial thing about this is hopefully on something like Sword Base, after each attack is resolved, I get to push the characters away short. So this is here really to try and move characters off of some Sword Bases so we can swoop in and try and grab some when they are uncontested. Not that Aaron just heard that in any way, shape or form and can now play around it, but that's its use. So we've got Well Laid Plans, which is a staple for any team that contains Green Goblin and Doc Ock. What it means is basically they can spend some power between them. They then roll 5 dice for each enemy character that is holding an objective. And then for crits and wilds, they take damage. If they suffer damage, they drop the objectives. Great. Denies some scoring, potentially gives me an opportunity to scoop some up. Always well worth it. We've then got Neogenic Recombination, which is a hell of a mouthful, but it basically allows me to transfer some damage around from a character that suffered 3, pop it onto Lizard, and then hopefully his healing factor will remove it. And then we have Marks for Death. As we've seen on the web heads, we've got Black Cat, we got Miles Morales, we got Moon Knight, we got a bunch of stealth, we got a bunch of movement. If we can get rid of that to potentially steal something at some point, we will. And that is the whole purpose of Mark for Death.
We're just going to set up the missions using the new deployments and then get back to you. Right then guys, we have set up the table with our new crisis cards and boy do they look a little bit different to what we're used to. So first of all, we've got the Paranoia Pummels Populace tokens. So there are 4 of them here across the middle.
Yeah.
That is using the new deployment, which is deployment letter K. It's very funky. Slightly different to the ones we've seen before. It's essentially like the previous setup for Scrolls, a little bit closer with an extra token. So not really that much like it. After that, we've got the new and improved sword base. Boy, am I happy to see the old version go. This uses new deployment map G. So that is 4 secures, which are here, and 1 on top of this bugle. In terms of trying today, we've mixed it up once more. We've got a couple more new bugles that we've got some block colours down on. We do need to finish these, but it's at least let's mix it up a little for now. So we have a size 5 New York City apartment building up here. Then we've got 3 size 3s. So we've got this bugle, and Stan the Man. Talking Stan the Man, we've got our own version of him just stood up here watching. Then for size 2s, we've got a whole host of them. We've got the 3 cars that you can see, a couple of dumpsters, and these 2 hedges. Lastly, we've got a couple of size 1s with just these barrels. So that is all of the train. John, you did win the priority role. Where would you like to start?
I don't really know, to be honest with you, looking at this map setup, but we're going to go with big chunky lizard base right there, I think.
Nice. I'm going to follow the principles I've always stuck by, which is long movers in the middle of the board. So Gwen is going dead centre just here, like so.
You have that benefit of long movers. I do not.
You've got Mysterio.
Mysterio?
Look,
Mysterio?
slowest mover.
We're then going to almost go exactly the same on this side, but with
Doc Ock?
Goblin, I believe.
Ooh, Goblin instead, nice.
Yeah.
Following on with the long base movement in the middle, Black Cat is going to stand next to Gwen.
Okay. We're going to pop Ock over here.
Nice. I'm going to go with Moon Knight, who's just going to stand here, like so.
Makes sense. we are then going to put Mysterio just out this way.
Then for me, John, I think Venom's got to find a place on this board. Goblin is over there, who has access to lower energy attacks. Doc Ock has access to the higher ones with his arm lasers, so I'm going to risk it and put Venom on this side.
Interesting.
Then it's back over to you, John.
It is back over to me. So we are going to go with Craven, slightly more centralised, just because we can.
Lastly, John, for me, it's going to be Miles Morales, and he is going to stand here. So that is deployment complete, John.
Yeah.
We've run through the train, we've run through the new missions. It's a brave new world, and we're going to see what happens as we move into the first battle report with the new classes.
Let's do it.
So, John, going into round one, we've put all of the power out onto our characters. You do have priority, so where would you like to start?
Well, let me finish adding the power to Craven first, because he's going to need that, I think. I am going to start, I think, with Craven, speaking of the man himself. And we will see if we can get him his size 2, so we can pass over there.
Yep.
Just drops on the other side. Can we get him within 1 of a sword base? We can quite easily with his second move.
Nice.
And then he's going to spend his 1.
And take it for
And
the
just
foes.
take it for the foes.
Nice. Over to me, John.
It is over to you.
So, in response, I'm just going to have a quick look. I'm not used to these sort of deployments, so it's a little
No, that threw me a little bit.
harder to recognise how far everyone is away. So, I don't think I can get within range 4 of you with one move, sadly.
You cannot, I don't believe.
Definitely cannot. So, that means I'm not looking to go with Moon Knight at the minute. I'm going to wait until you move up to grab one of the extracts. Talking of extracts, as Black Cat no longer really needs to hold off and save her power for a single extract, she's just going to become more of an objective runner for me. So she's going to move twice.
Yep.
Once to here, John, and then once again to grab the far objective.
I think that makes perfect sense with it.
So just having a look. So
More
once
than
again, we're going to put her as far back this way as possible, because she's going to spend her power to pick it up, and she takes a damage as there are no friendly characters within 2 of her.
She does.
That is the end of her movement, John. It's then over to you.
This is still weird looking at it, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So I think Mysterio is going to go next.
Finally, an objective he can reliably reach.
Yeah, he can't quite get on the top of that building in 1 move, however. But what he can do is in his second move, because he has flight, is just hop up there, spend his power, and secure himself a sword base.
Very nice. Over to me then, John.
Mysterio doing objective work.
So I'm going to go with Venom, who is going to move once to here. And then he's going to move again to be within 1 of the sword bases. I'm just checking some other things though, as I want Venom set up to help me out later on. So Venom's going to move with his second action to there. He's going to spend his power and interact with that sword base, which now belongs to the Web Warriors.
It does.
John, it is then over to you.
I like how you set that up so you can try and pick up either of those without taking any real damage.
Yeah.
There is a sweet spot. If I could have got 2 power on Lizard, I reckon he could have stood there, interacted and picked one up. So it's worth thinking about moving forward.
Well, as Guardians are going to love these new deployments, I think, if you get the right combinations.
Oh, 100%. There is definitely a way you can do these kinds of things.
Another affiliation that's going to really like them is the Uncanny X-Men. As first class, letting them in interact for free, it's not going to be fun.
I mean, it will be for the X-Men players.
Well,
like myself.
We'll just let all the Asgardians and X-Men fight it out in the corner.
Oh, Asgard are going to be madness.
Who would you like to go with next?
I think it has to be Doc Ock.
Hans?
And before we start falling horrifically behind, I think we're going to come once to there.
Yep.
And then I think we are going to steal the middle one.
Which middle one is the
This
question?
middle one.
Nice.
That will put us within 2.
So you won't take damage when you pick it
I
up,
won't take damage when I pick it up.
as Craven is there to help calm your paranoia. Over to me then, John.
It is indeed. Over to you.
So Miles Morales is going to be the one for me to get this extract. He's going to move once to here. With his second action, he's going to move once again. Can easily get where I need him to be.
Yep.
Just to the extent of 1 away from this. He's going to spend a power and pick it up. And again, he doesn't take any damage as Venom is within 2 of him. John, it is then over to you.
It is over to me. Lizard is going to do his lizardy things. He's going to run once to here. And then he's got more than enough movement to get himself out here.
Nice.
He doesn't quite fall within 2 of Doc Ock, I don't believe.
So sadly, he will be taking a damage.
He will, however...
Because of healing factor, he's going to heal it anyway.
He's going to heal it anyway, so it's not the end of the world for the lizard.
Nice. Over to me then, John.
Over to you.
So I think we're going to end up with a little bit of a stalemate where we have 4 points each. So it's going to be interesting to see. Moon Knight is going to go for me. We're going to see what the Moon decrees. So time to grab a dodge try. So, Moon, what do you bless us with today?
Nothing.
A shield, which I believe is more power, which is exactly what I wanted turn 1. Moon Knight gains an additional power. Then he's going to move medium to here, making sure to stay beyond the hedge where he will have cover. He's going to spend 1 of his power to interact with that sword base, which now belongs to the Web Warriors.
It does indeed.
He's then going to unleash a flurry of blows with his throwing presence.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to go for Doc Ock, as he's got the low health pool out of him and Lizard.
He does.
So it'll be 4 dice physical.
Versus 4 dice.
See if we can put through some damage. 4 off the bat.
Oh, what is that? Nothing.
So I'll add my crit. 4, so you take 4 damage.
What the hell happened there?
I don't know, but I like it. So I gain a power. And then I think I've definitely got the hit, so it's time for a rapid fire.
Is Doc Ock going to fall over turn 1?
It'll be interesting to see. 4 dice again, John?
Yeah.
Just 1.
Doc Ock blocks this time.
So we had a whole roundabout because that was the type of defence roll you needed the first attack.
100%.
It's not the one I wanted to see on the second. So Doc Ock isn't dazed, John.
He does gain a power though.
Because he rolled
On
a
the
crit.
crit. Sorry to
Moon
be cubist.
will gain a power for doing that second attack as well.
He will.
Then he's going to spend 3 power to play Advanced R&D.
Yeah.
And what he's going to do is give 1 to Spider-Gwen, 1 to Venom to make sure Lethal Protector is on turn 2. And he's also going to give 1 to Miles to make sure he's able to web swing next turn. That is the end of Moon Knight's activation. John, it's just over to you. You have Green Goblin left.
I do have Green Goblin left. I'm also trying to work out whether I should palm some damage off of Doc Ock onto Lizard. Is Gwen going to get to him? I think she is. Let's do Goblin first, and then we'll work it from there. So Goblin is going to go. Can he get within range? He should be able to quite easily. So he is going to come straight round this way.
Yep.
And then he is going to have a look. He is easily within range, so he is going to throw a 5 dice energy pumpkin bombs at Venom.
Have you stayed outside of 3 so I can't counter attack?
I believe I have. I have not.
Do you want to knock him back just a little bit? As I know the intention there was probably to stay outside.
It was. Looking at objectives, I was like, oh, I'm definitely out. Turns out not.
Really hard. We haven't got those reference points of the previous secures to tie things up with. So, 5 dice energy into Venom, or 2 defense dice. I'm blocking 1.
I am only hitting with 2.
So I've got a crit to add, and then I get a reroll.
Yeah.
And then John, you can make me reroll those.
I will. I will use Oscar weaponry to make you reroll that.
That was a blank, sorry. So I block nothing, meaning I take 2 damage.
You do take 2 damage.
I don't get any conditions though, John, as you didn't have any wilds.
No, no wilds, no bag of tricks for me, unfortunately.
Right, John, is it then over to me?
Yeah, I think Doc can make it out at the end of this round. You watch, he doesn't now. It's over to you.
So Gwen is going to go, and the question is, where is Gwen going to go? I think she is going to move long to here. And then the question, John, I could pull someone in to try and get them off point. However, I won't have enough power to interact then. I could pull Doc Ock, try and daze him, and then get a free movement off the back of it. There's lots of different options for the webheads here. I think what I'm going to do is risk it. I'm going to spend 2 power.
Okay.
Pull Doc Ock.
Okie dokie.
We get to pull him short. So just to the end of that. So he'll get stuck between Gwen and Miles. Then John, what I'm going to do with Gwen's second action is punch him in the face.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So it's 4 dice physical from Gwen into Doc Ock. Nothing at all, so you don't have to worry.
I do in case I roll a crit.
But you got nothing at all.
I got nothing at all either.
Extremely underwhelming from both of us. Gwen now gets a free movement, as she's already moved once during this activation, thanks to the way that Spider technique works. So she's just going to make sure she's a little bit further behind, away from all those hard hitters. At the end of the round, John, it would appear that we're both scoring 4 VPs each, as I have 2 Populace tokens after you, and you have 2 sword bases, as do I. However, the Populace tokens give out bonus points if one or more of your characters are within 2 of an allied character. So I'm going to check for my characters first. Miles is within 2 of Venom. He is holding a Populace. That will
Yep.
give me an extra point up to 5.
It will.
John, have your characters got someone within 2 of them holding a token?
They have not, because Gwen pulled Doc Ock away from Lizard.
Yep.
So nobody's scoring any extra points.
So that means I get 5 VPs at the end of round 1, John.
Yep.
And you get 4 if you sadly didn't manage to pick up the bonus point. As we move into round 2. And as always, we fill up that.
No, but we're just waiting for round 2. Round 1's obvious.
Definitely. So we'll move into round 2. So guys, going into round 2, making sure that John didn't get that bonus point has helped me gain a little lead. However, it's nothing major as it's still all to play for. It's just worth noting that neither of us will get to use the push from the sword base as we both currently control 2 of them. John, you do have priority, so it's time to see what you decide to do.
I think I have to go with Ock before I do anything else. He is not within 3 of Lizard. He is within 3 of Goblin, but doesn't really want to be pushing damage through onto Goblin. I mean, Goblin gets mental when he goes on the other side, doesn't he? Can't contest, can't hold, but hits like a truck.
I believe he can count as contesting, but he can't
Pick up. Yeah, he's not going to contest when he's ramming everybody on the other side, let's be honest. I think we are, at this point, going to play Neo-Genetic Recombinator.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure I got it right that time.
I think you did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. And we're going to send 3 damage from Doc Ock over to Goblin.
So risky plays, it does make Goblin a little vulnerable.
It does.
But it could all pay off.
It could so.
John, what's the Doctor going to do then?
The Doctor, to start with, is going to strike Miles Morales.
Right, so I get 3 defense dice with a bunch of rerolls. You get 4 dice, John, with wild counting as 2.
I do.
I'm blocking 2.
I am only hitting with 1.
So I'll get a bunch of rerolls. I can reroll skull to hold my objective. Still a skull, but I've still blocked all the damage I needed to.
You have. I don't get any flurries of arms. I don't get anything like that. That's unfortunate.
What would you like to do with your second action, John?
So, I think we're going to spend 3 for Ox Clutches. We are going to pick up that terrain, that wonderful hedge
Nice.
that is providing Moon Knight a little bit of cover too. And we are just going to wang it at Miles.
Nice. So Miles has to dodge it. Gets 3 dice with 2 rerolls thanks to Spider Sense. So that's 1 at the minute. I get 2 rerolls. I mind you to just drop everything. So he blocks 1, meaning he takes 2 damage.
He does indeed. We're getting there, slowly but surely.
Then, John, with your last action, what would Dr. Octopus like to do?
I mean, ideally, he would like to stand there and do something else again, but I don't think that's probably the best idea because he's going to fall apart if he does. So he is going to retreat like any smart doctor would, because he did no damage first time around, and he is going to come and stand right back here on this sword base. Okay, so Doc has retreated a little bit. It's over to you.
The cowardly Doctor has run away to save himself for another day, but it's kind of fair. So,
I mean, he is holding a pummeling,
a Populace finger.
Yeah, there was.
So I need to make sure there's no one win 2 of them at the end of the round. It sounds easier than it is, but I'm definitely going to try to, as stopping you scoring that point if I can get mine is really big. So, over to me.
Yeah, over to you.
Green Goblin is looking rather tasty as a target of opportunity at the minute. He only has 4 health remaining.
He does only have 4 health remaining.
So I think I'm going to go with Miles Morales. So Miles is going to spend 2 power for a web swing. So he's going to place himself back ever so slightly, like so, at 3 from Goblin. Then he's going to kick him in the face.
Oh, Goblin says no.
So it would be 4 dice, John, however it's up to 6 dice thanks to the web swing.
It is indeed.
3 with a wild.
Blocking 1. What is happening here?
So you take 2 damage from the attack.
I do take 2 damage from the attack.
The wild lets me throw you small. So I think I'm going to use that small throw and throw you away this way. It will mean that you hit the hedge, like so.
Oh, taking additional damage.
Leaving Goblin with just 1 remaining.
Leaving Goblin with just 1 remaining.
Miles gains 2 power. And much like Dr. Octopus, I want to be safe and sound holding my Populace token. So I'm going to move away from the action for now, as Miles retreats to stand over here. Then, John, I actually think he's going to spend 2 of his power to patch up his friend Venom, as I don't want any cheap energy attacks taking him out of action. So that is Venom back to full health. John, it is then overdue. That is the end of Miles' activation, and patch up and R&D have both been used from my tactical cards.
It is over to me. Let's have a quick look at this. Okay, so we're going to go with Lizard.
Yep.
We are going to start with a tail whip, I believe. Yeah, let's see if we can do this. So 4 dice physical.
into Moon Knight.
Into Moon Knight.
I get 3 defense dice. And the Moon protects. I've got a crit.
I've got 2, but I've got the wild, which is what I was after.
So I'll add my crit, put me to 2, meaning I've blocked all of the damage.
You have, however, I do have the wild push.
Yep.
So we can push you short.
Which will take me off of that objective.
It will indeed. We'll send you as far back as we can that way. I will then spend the second action.
Yep.
Let me just prove I can easily get there, just in case. Put myself right there.
And take that sword base
And
from
take that sword base for the power that I have.
Because you don't need to roll as there's nobody there to stop you. Right then, John. Over to me now.
It is indeed over to you now.
Right, John. I think Venom is going to go and carry on with some shenanigans for the Web Heads. So he's going to move small this way.
Yep.
Which hopefully will put him within range of one of this point. I'm not quite sure it will though. No, so
No.
he's out. Well, quite a bit actually. So a little bit of a misguided measurement from me there. Nevertheless, now that Venom's moved, I'm going to spend 2 power to pull off Doc Ock, as I want him out of position. So, taking 2 away, I get to move in medium. And I'm really trying to keep on top of keeping your characters outside of 2 of one another. Like so. Then, I'm also going to spend 2 power to pull off the Lizard. We're just going to throw him up and over to Moon Knight. So he hits Moon Knight there where he will stop.
Yeah.
As it's just a pull, no one takes any damage. Venom's still got an action left, so he's going to hit Dr. Octopus, see if we can carry on pushing through that damage from earlier on. The 4 does physical, and into symbiote tendrils.
Yep.
And he's got 4, John.
Honestly. Ox got 3 with 2 crits.
Nice.
At the crits, take the skull out. 3.
So he takes 1 damage.
Takes 1 damage, gains the power for the crit.
So Venom gains a power. Sadly, it doesn't mean I've got enough to do any throws, but you will gain bleed automatically.
Yes.
John, that's the end of Venom's activation.
Wonderful. So Goblin's going to have to move.
He is if he wants to attack somebody.
So he's just going to move just here.
Right.
So he's outside of 3. Not within 4.
Sadly, making sure that I don't get any counter attacks.
100%. He is then going to spend 2 for hit and run.
Meaning he'll be able to make a medium move after the attack.
He will. And he's then going to throw... do I want to throw 7 dice? I'm outside of range for 7 dice. So we're going to throw 5 dice energy, as normal, into Venom.
So 2 defense dice for me. Venom's blocking nothing at all.
I'm only on 1, but it is a crit.
So you get to add your crit.
It is a wild, so 2.
I'll get a reroll. Then you can make me reroll 1 as well, John.
Well, as you have no successes, I will not make you reroll 1.
That's fine. So I take 2
You
damage.
take 2 damage, I gain 2 energy, and I do have a wild trigger.
So I'll gain a condition.
You can have Incinerate.
Nice, thanks, John.
Not a problem. And then I do get my move. So I am going to come round this way to be within 1 of the point. I've got more than enough movement. And we will do that. I did knock that slightly, so let me just put that back. Mudge away slightly. There we go.
Watch the hedge. The Green Goblin has no respect for the scenery.
He has no respect for anything.
Right, John, over to me.
Over to you.
We're going to go with Moon Knight and see what the moon says. The moon says a crit, which is a free move action. So, with that in mind, Moon Knight is going to move once onto this sword base.
I thought he might come and try and take that back.
So now that he's here, before I forget, he's going to spend the power that he's got to make that sword base back under the control of the Web Heads, as there is nobody contesting it to stop him. Then John, he's within 2 lizard, so he's going to do a bow staff attack into the big green rage machine.
Sounds fair at this point.
4 dice, and we've got a crit and a hit at the minute.
We've got 3 with 2 crits.
Nice, so I'll add more crit in, so just 2 total.
Only 3.
Then I can re-roll everything as part of the bow staff attack,
Yeah.
and if I get a wild, I'll be giving you a stagger. So don't get the wall, however, I have got 4 successes, so you take 1 damage.
Push a damage through. Well worth it on the rerolls there.
Definitely. Moon Knight also going to power off the back of it. Then, John, I could risk moving over to take your sword base, but Craven will then have free reign to move and take mine, and vice versa, so I don't think I'm going to. What I'm going to do instead is try the same thing again to Lizard to see if we can push for a little bit of damage.
That sounds fair.
So 4 dice, just 1.
Blocking 2 with a crit.
So I'll let you add your crit. Then I'll
Blocking
reroll
3.
everything. So 3, however, it's not enough and you don't take any damage.
Nope.
that is the end of Windows activation.
Nobody's loaded on power at this point, are they?
Not particularly. Venom's got 3, but that's about it.
Yeah, okay. We're going to do it. We're going to spend our first action to just move up here.
Nice. And then you're going to do an attack into Black Cat.
We are going to do an attack into Black Cat. So we are going to hit her with a 4 dice hypnosis gas.
Nice. So I get 3 defense dice.
Yeah, it is Mystic.
So I'm blocking just 1.
2.
I get 1 reroll, John.
You do?
So I'm only blocking 1. Do you want me to reroll it with the spider
I
file?
would love you to reroll it, please.
So blocking nothing means I take 2 damage.
You do take 2. And I can advance the target character short.
Did you roll any blanks?
I did not roll any blanks. I rolled 2 wilds
So you don't
and
get
2 shields.
Any extra power for that?
No, unfortunately not. It would be nice if I did.
As you said though, John, you do get to move me small.
I do get to move you small. So I really want to move you and then set off tricks and traps with the power that I've got. So I kind of want to move you this way, I think.
Nice.
So are you still going to be within 3? You definitely are.
So, tricks and traps.
Yep, going to spend the 3 power I've got for tricks and traps.
For those that don't know, when an enemy character ends any kind of movement within 3 of Mysterio, you can spend 3 power for tricks and traps. He rolls 4 dice, and for each crit and wild, the enemy character will suffer a damage.
1.
So that means Black Cat's going to take a damage, leaving her on her last leg with just 1 remaining.
Yep. And then I may advance short because I dealt some damage.
Nice.
So I am going to get myself back out of dodge and hide back here within 1 of the points.
Nice. John, is it then over to me?
It is then over to you.
So, John, I'm going to go with Ghost Spider,
Yep.
who's going to move long up onto this building. Like so.
2 long movers is a pain for me here.
Oh, sorry, Doctor.
Don't mess with the doc.
Now that Gwen's there, she's going to do an impact webbing into Mysterio. We're going to let you have your full 5 defense dice.
Oh, thanks.
As we're not after damage here. So 4 dice for Gwen, and I'm hoping to push it. So I've got 2 with a crit.
I got 2 crits.
So I'll add my crit in, John. Just 2.
No push. 3.
So you take no damage, and I don't get the push.
I
However,
did roll a black.
Yep. I do gain a power, thanks to the rules of impact webbing. Then, John, I think I'm going to risk it. Gwen's going to spend a power and interact with that sword base, looking for a hit, crit, or wild. She gets a wild, meaning it belongs to the Web Warriors.
There is absolutely nothing else I could have done with that.
John, that's the end of Gwen's activation. It's down to Craven to try and take one of these sword bases back, as the Web Heads currently have 3 of them.
They do.
So, John, where's Craven going to go?
I mean, he's got to kind of come for Gwen, hasn't he? And take that point back. The issue is, you can't do any kind of real attacks. It's just a double move, and then he's hoping Goblin survives. Yeah, he's got to do it. He's got to do it. So he's going to have to move twice.
So he's moving once, right up to the building, and
gets
a second time to climb up.
Yeah.
He's going to try and take back the sword base.
He is. Hit, crit. Well, no, it is a blank. It is not mine.
So it stays under the control of the Web Heads. John, is it then back to me?
It is then back to you.
So I'm hoping Black Cat can still do some shenanigans that we all know and love her for. She's going to move long to here.
Mm-hmm.
Then she is going to spend 2 power, place herself within 2, and she's just going to use it to get exactly 1 on this point.
That makes perfect sense.
So I'm going to spend the power and roll for that sword base. See if we can take it for the Web Warriors. And she does.
Unbelievable.
So sword base, maybe I don't mind you too much now. Now that she took it, it's time to get out of there, and Black Cat is going to run straight back towards Miles, like so.
I think that makes sense at this point.
Putting her back on that sword base over there as well. So, John, a whopping turn for the Web Warriors. In terms of VPs, we control all 4 of the sword bases. So we get 4 points for that. We control 2 of the Populace tokens on Miles and Black Cat.
Yeah.
And then we get the bonus point as they're within 2 of one another. So they both count towards it for each other.
Yep.
That means I get a huge total of 7 points.
You do.
Taking it up to 12.
I score 2.
Yes, as the Spider foes only have the 2 Populace tokens, and neither of them are within 2 of a
They're
character.
not. They've both been pulled around by Venom. They're out of line. They're out of sync. The dice rolls on 2 sword bases feels rough.
Yes, the sword base hasn't lost that element of feeling a little bit bad when it comes down to that roll. However, John, that is the end of round 2.
It is indeed.
And we're going to move into round 3 and see if the Spider foes can pull it back. So guys, going into round 3, it's not looking great for the spider foes. The web heads managed to sweep it out from under their feet, calming the paranoia in the city and taking control of every sword base. To top it off, John, now in the power phase, I get to push one of your characters as part of the rules of sword base, as I hold more than you do. So I'm going to push Green Goblin and essentially remove him from the game this round, hopefully.
No!
So just push him all the way over there. Then, John, that is everything for the power phase. You do sadly have priority, meaning I expect at least one of the web heads to go down.
Yeah, so we are going to start with Doc Ock.
Yep.
I think Doc Ock is going to spend 3.
And I'm going to guess, is he throwing Black Cat or something?
He is throwing Black Cat straight into Venom.
Nice.
Because he can. So we are going to measure her out. We're going to throw her that way. We're going to pop her. She more than easily makes it.
Yep.
She's going to bump into Venom.
So, Black Cat will take a damage which will daze her.
Yep.
Meaning she'll drop the Populace token, which we'll sort in a moment.
Yep.
Venom has to dodge.
He does indeed.
So he gets 4 defense dice. He dodges 2 straight away, meaning he just takes the 1 damage. So puts him on 4 power. Then the objective drops off of Black Cat.
It does drop off Black Cat.
And where would you like that to go?
We're going to go back this way, I believe.
Nice.
We'll place it right there.
Then, John, that still leaves the good doctor with 2 actions. Where would he like to start?
I mean, he's tempted to try and smack Venom. But I don't know if that is really the best use.
He's got that 6 dice arm lasers. Venom would only be on 1 dice, but it is risky. As if you don't take him down, Venom's going to hit you back.
And that's my risk here. I removed some damage from Doc at some point. Sorry, I'm not quite sure how that got removed. So he's only got 3 health left.
Yep.
Shall we risk it for a Swisky? Go big or go home, right? We're going to spend all of his power
For the arm lasers.
for the 6 dice arm lasers into Venom.
Nice. So I get 1 defense dice, hoping for a big crit here, and I get a shield.
Unbelievable. That is a better roll.
So you've got 5
5 with crit.
pierce and a crit.
6.
So you pierce away my defense no matter what, meaning you're going to take all the damage needed to daze, mate.
Die, Venom, die!
So that's not a great start for me. Venom is dazed. What would Doc like to do with his second action, John?
Well, he has no power, unfortunately.
Do you roll a crit?
I did want to crit. You
He
are
has 1
correct.
power.
He does have a power.
Thanks to scientific hubris.
I knew there was something amiss there. And he is then going to walk himself back over here. And spend that 1 power he gets from his multiple crits to take that sword base back for the foes.
Yeah. So that is Black Cat dazed as well.
And that is Doc Ock done. And it is over to you.
So we're going to go with Moon Knight. I forgot to take some power off of him. He is only actually on 1 power. So let's see what the moon says. The moon says a crit, so another free movement for the Knight of the Moon.
Don't you dare come and steal that sword base I just took back.
Well, I'm considering walking over, trying to take the sword base, trying to daze Doc Ock, and trying to daze Goblin.
I mean,
It's a tall order.
it is, but it's doable.
So I think that weighing up the odds, I'd be better off just sneakily using that free move to grab that population token. So Moon Knight's going to use a free move to move to here. Grab that population token. So Moon Knight's picked that up. He's then going to do a throwing presence attack into Dr. Octopus. So
Ooh.
4 dice physical. And I'm on 3.
I am blocking 1.
So you take 2 damage.
I do take 2 damage, leaving me on 1.
Gain a power, and then because I rolled a hit, I do get a rapid fire attack. 2 with a crit.
Can you stop these rolls?
3, John.
2 with a crit.
So you could live.
I could live. I will gain a power for the crit, so I'll put that on now just in case. He does not live.
So he is dazed.
He is dazed.
Moon Knight gains another power, and you drop another Populace token.
I do drop a Populace token.
And I think we're going to put it over here, as that's as far away from all your characters as possible. Then Moon Knight still actually has an action left. He is going to move medium this way just to be safe, away from Green Goblin. Moon Knight would have taken a damage when he picked up his Populace token, as he didn't have any friends nearby him. Right then, John, it is over to you.
It is over to me. We are going to go with a super boring play here. Goblin is going to move once. Then he's going to try and find a sweet spot between this I think he's going to reposition himself slightly. He's got more than enough movement on it. Puts him within both, correct?
Yep.
Okay, he's then going to pick up that for 1.
So 2 moves, which is how he's been able to get so far.
Yeah, and then he will spend 1 to
You
take the sword base.
Right then, John. Over to me.
Over to you. 2 moves on Goblin.
So, John, I'm going to go with Gwen. She's going to do a 4 dice strike into Craven.
Craven?
I'm going to hopefully do some damage. Not like that one, not John, as I've only got 4 and they're all nothings.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. I mean, I had a crit, but I won't add it. Doesn't make any difference.
With her second action, John, she's going to try and hit me again. This time she gets 3 extra dice.
Yep.
And that's a bit better. We've got
Why couldn't that be
5
what it was last time?
with a couple of crits.
We've got 1.
So we've got 2 crits to add in, John. 6 in total.
I got 1 crit to add in.
And you get 1
I
reroll
do
for
get 1
Calypso.
reroll. It is no good.
So out of nowhere, John, you take 5 damage.
Which dazes me.
I gain 5 power, as Gwen goes a little bit crazy there. I won't complain though, as it evens up the odds a little bit, as you've got 1 less character to activate.
I do have 1 less character to activate. That was not what I thought was going to happen.
And that is the end of Gwen's activation. She could pull Mysterio, but there's not really a massive benefit in doing so.
We're going to go with Lizard.
Yeah.
I don't think he's in range to hit anybody at any point at all that he can do anything with. He's not. He doesn't really want to walk over and try and deal with those 2. They're both fairly healthy.
Miles has got 3 left and Moon Knight's got 4 left.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I could maybe walk over, throw Moon Knight into Miles, try and finish Miles off. Oh, you know what? Let's see what we can do. Let's do it. Let's do this. We're going to come over. Can you tell I talked myself into this?
So John, now that you've moved there, what would you like to do next?
I am going to spend 3.
Are we throwing Moon Knight at someone?
We are throwing Moon Knight at Miles.
So just like that, meaning Miles needs to dodge.
Yep.
He's got 3 at the minute.
Oh my god.
He's on 4. He's got a reroll, John. So 4, so he takes no damage at all.
Well, that didn't work, did it? I mean, I guess that doesn't leave me with a lot of options here.
No, it doesn't.
Other than to try and tail whip Miles.
Nice, so 4 dice.
4 dice, yeah.
Miles 3. Blocking nothing at the minute.
2, but they are both crits.
So do you want to add your crits in?
2. And a host of skulls.
2 rerolls, followed by another reroll. So blocking 2.
I would like you to reroll 1, please, and Oscar weaponry.
So I'm still blocking 2.
Amazing.
Miles takes no damage.
Takes no damage. I get no damage through for the power. I don't get a push.
So that is the end of Lizard's activation.
Lizard was horribly underwhelming at that time.
So John, I think if I can deal with Mysterio, then it will be close to being game for the Web Warriors.
It will.
So I'm going to have a look. I'm currently scoring 2 points for the 2 Populaces that I have.
Yep.
I'll get a bonus point if I keep one of them in range of another one.
Yep.
So I might just go on a little adventure with Miles, try and kick Mysterio in the face to see how we got on from there. First thing I'm going to do though is Gwen is going to spend 3 power for all webbed up. It will sadly only reach Mysterio as Lizard is just out. So Mysterio is slow. This won't affect his movement as he's already a slow mover. What it does do though is help line up Miles for some big attacks. So Miles is going to spend 2 to web swing and he wants to be just within 3 of Mysterio, like so. And then he's going to kick him in the face. I don't have the power sadly to avoid his defences. I'm just hoping sheer weight of dice will help.
And I am going to gain cover.
So we'll get 4 dice face, plus 2 for a web swing, plus 2 for a web duck.
Yep.
To 8 dice in total.
It's not going to go well.
I'm on 4 at the minute with a crit and the throw.
I am on 2 with a crit.
So I'll add more crit in.
I will gain a power for the black.
Yeah. So I'm on 5, John.
I'll add the crit. I'm on 3, so taking 2.
Yeah. Meaning Miles gains 2 power. I could throw you, John, but I'm going to risk it and choose not to.
Ooh, risky business.
With his second action, Miles is going to kick you again. This time he's going to spend 2 power to see through your tricks and traps and mysterious ways and make you only have 1 defense dice. Miles gets 6, he's got 4 base, plus 2 for all weapons.
Yeah. This is where you need a big fluff.
4 for me, John.
That is not a big fluff. It is a block.
So you take
3
damage.
which is not enough to do him.
So he's left alive on 1.
He is left alive on 1.
I did get the wild though, John, which I'm definitely going to use to throw him away.
Yeah.
like so. If you wouldn't mind just moving him for me.
I do mind greatly, but I will do it anyway.
Putting him all the way over there. Miles gains 3 power for that, John.
Yeah.
And then it is over to you.
I need to add the power on for the damage. And then Mysterio, I guess, is going to see what he can do. He needs to try and take that point back. So he's going to go, come on. He's going to go short.
Back to where he was within 1.
That's where he was within 1.
John, as you've moved and finished that move within 4 of Miles, I am going to spend 2 power for Spider Tracker.
Yeah.
Which hopefully will secure the victory for the Web Heads, as I just don't think you can catch them now, as Miles moves away, holding on to that Populace token. Like so.
I don't think I can catch him now.
As sadly, I'm scoring 4 points here alone, which will take me to 16.
It will. That is why Lizard tried his damnedest to finish off Miles, but that dodge roll was something else.
It was phenomenal.
So, in which case, we are just going to spend 4 of his power
For a curtain call on Gwen.
Curtain call onto Gwen.
Nice. So I get 3 defense dice. I'm blocking nothing.
6. 3.
I get 1 reroll.
Yep.
So I'm blocking 1. John, would you like to make me reroll it with Oscort weaponry?
Yeah, well, roll it. Why not?
So nothing, meaning I take 3 damage.
You do take 3. You're going to stagger for the wild.
Yeah.
And if the attack deals damage, size 2 or less, I can throw you short.
So this is where it gets real brutal. Where would you like to throw me, John?
I don't think you bump into Moon Knight here.
I think she will actually. Yeah, so throwing her into Moon Knight.
Yeah, into Moon Knight.
Moon Knight has to dodge. Blocks 1, so he takes 2 damage.
He does indeed.
He's still standing, John. Gwen is also still alive with just 1 health remaining.
She is, unfortunately.
And you're not close enough to trigger your tricks and traps, I don't think.
I don't think I am either. No, I'm not.
So that means, sadly, the Web Heads do survive.
He says. Let me have a quick double check.
No, see, just shy, just shy.
I thought I was, but it's always worth having a good look. I'll then spend 1.
Take back that base.
Take back that base, if nothing else.
However, John, at the end of the round, thanks to the scoring, I think the Web Heads have got it. So we get 1 point for our Lonely Sword base over here.
You do?
Then we get 2 points for our Populace tokens.
Yes.
And then we get the bonus point as we have an ally character with 2 of the people holding them, giving us 4 in total and taking us to 16.
Yep.
John, you are just starting to get it back there.
I was.
You get 2 for your Populace tokens. You don't get the bonus point on anyone. However, you get 3 points for the sword bases. Meaning the game ends 16-11. It's a very quick game, very quick scoring. So much so that it surprised me a little. So we'll talk about all of that in the outro.
Yep.
John, thank you for the game.
Pleasure as always.
So John, I feel like I start every bit with us on camera with John. But so John, what a crazy game. Really quick scoring.
It was.
Those bonus points add up quickly, and I think if you can stop your opponent getting them like the Web Heads managed to do, the difference and the gap between VPs is huge.
Yeah, I think you've been able to move my characters around with web lines and web
They
snares.
just stopped the bonus points, especially straight off the bat from turn 1, pulling Doc Ock, I think it was, just really put you at a disadvantage, and then the gap just widened and widened.
It did indeed.
1 turn scoring 7 VPs when you had 2 of the extracts.
Yep.
Felt really powerful. I mean, the fact that Sword Base is now 4 objectives and you still just have a 50-50 chance of taking it, I don't know if it's better or worse in terms of the feel bad. I had 2 rolls, got both of them, you had 1 didn't, and then you saw how much that swung the game.
Yeah, it felt bad in that moment, but I guess there are going to be other times where it doesn't feel quite so bad.
Definitely. I mean, I don't think there should be the push for having more. It'd be really interesting if the push was for the player who has less.
Yes.
So, interesting to see. Overall, really enjoyed the game though, John.
Yeah, definitely.
Spider Foes versus Web Warriors, always a great matchup. John, in that game, who was your MVP? We only went to round 3 for picking MVP.
We did only go to round 3. I would love to go with Lizard because he was moving around in the back line, doing loads of stuff. However, I think Mysterio probably did more.
Yeah,
he
Mysterio was pretty solid.
Walked up to that kind of back right point, stood there, put out a load of mystic attacks, a couple of tricks and traps, moved Gwen around a little bit.
He did what he needed.
He did what he needed, and he was solid.
And at the end, he nearly took 2 of the web outs in 1.
He came close.
Gwen and Moon Knight, didn't he? So, very powerful. John, for me, I'm going to have to get to Moon Knight. 2 crits for the personality, giving him the free move. After he got the power turn 1, The move was clearly with me today, and that must be what enabled me to score so quickly.
His free moves were great. He was able to come in, pick something up, then go back to another point.
In terms of the scenarios, I think it's worth talking about them. We've already talked a little bit about S.W.O.R.D. What do you think about Paranoia, Pummels, Populace, John?
I think Paranoia could be interesting.
Yeah.
I quite liked Paranoia. I think the points across the middle are interesting. There's enough there for it to be a split if you needed to. I think the bonus point is going to be good for some teams that have ways to prevent movement and things like that.
I think it's good if you can stop your opponent getting it, which is what we saw there with the Web Heads. But again, we were able to just quickly run away with the points. It felt really powerful, the fact that I managed to get to those S.W.O.R.D bases, so I'm not sure if S.W.O.R.D base is going to see more play or less play than what we saw before. I can definitely see why you would take it if you're a bit of a risk taker.
Yes.
Personally, I'm not a fan of it, John. It feels too risky for me. I don't know about you.
I think I will be leaving it at home. I think that 4-point swing on a dice roll was
just
too
crazy.
Much. Too much for me.
When we both had 2 each, it was very stable.
Yeah.
But the fact, my huge advantage of having those long movers swinging in, taking them off of you, just really changed the game and really set me up for that final finish where, thanks to the bonus point, I was able to just tank up, castle up in a corner and get the points I needed.
Without question.
Either way, John, it's been a pleasure. This is the first of the Battle of Portuguese and 2023 Crisis Packs. I don't think we mentioned it at the start, so apologies. However, I want to give a big shout out to Deep Cut Studios. They're the guys that provide us with the mats that we use. So if you want to check them out, I'll put a link below in the description. Apologies for not saying it at the start, but those are the people to check out for gaming mats. I'm not sure what people with pre-marked maps are going to do now that there's all these new setups. So if you need a new map to replace your old one, that's the place to go. Lastly, John, shout out to Boarding Brum, they are our sponsors. We're heading off there now to see who's about. Have a good laugh and enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you all for watching. Check out the Patreon if you enjoyed the video. And John, thank you as always.
Pleasure as always, mate.
And we'll see you all next time.
So guys, thanks for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and leave any thoughts you have down in the comments below. I want to give a huge shout out to the channel's patrons, as they're the people that make all of this possible. If you want to support the channel and become a patron, then you can find a link down below in the description.